Hello guys, welcome back to my YouTube channel. It's your girl, that girl underscore Chichi, and we are back again with another episode of Unlocking Childhood Trauma with Chichi, your host. Okay, so as you know, I already uploaded 2 previous episodes, as I would call them, on my YouTube channel of me talking about my childhood. If you want more background to what I'll be talking about in this video, I'll basically be talking about my personal experience in foster care. I feel like I've tried to keep it general. I basically try to give you like a backstory and like a current update from my last 2 episodes. So this episode I want to dedicate it to basically talking about my personal experience, how I dealt with having a sick parent, foster home life, helplessness, and basically just dealing with grief while also being in secondary school, which I feel like is kind of, interesting. So if you ever see me looking down in the video, I've got my notes here on this little, I don't even know what these things are called, but I got my notes here. So yeah, grab whatever you need to grab, get comfortable, and let's get into it. Thank you.
Anytime you want, baby girl, just come. Where you wanna go? No, they do, they will never know. We can go back and we can fly, bro. Let me watch a tire.
Also, if you guys hear like buzzing sound, I literally have a fan on because it's like 101 degrees in my room. Like it's hot as fuck in here. And yeah, if you are looking around and being like, oh, where am I? I've literally uploaded lots of YouTube videos on my channel, basically detailing how I moved from Ireland to Reunion Island for my Erasmus for just 1 semester. So don't worry, I'll be back, but I won't be back to the same place anyways, because yeah, I'm moving into a new place when I come back home at the same time. So hey, but anyways, new background, Reunion Island. We're here with episode 3. Cool. So dealing with a sick parent. What is it like dealing with a sick parent? What is my experience? What can I contribute in terms of dealing with a sick parent? I feel like for me, it wasn't until like after, like it wasn't until like kind of like a good like year or 2 after my mom passed away that I only realized like dealing with a sick parent is tiring. Like dealing with a sick parent is not even in a rude way, but in a way that's like it is mentally exhausting to literally deal with a sick parent. Because like, one, I know that like we're not the people who are sick, it's like the parent who's sick. Like my mom was the person who was sick, I wasn't sick. And you're probably like, so what are you tired for? Like what are you tired of? But I'm like, it's just the whole like having to be there and like witness everything. Like sometimes you're just kind of like you're unsure basically whether they're either getting better or whether they're like deteriorating. And then like on top of that, you feel worse for thinking that they're literally getting worse, because you don't want to wish that ever on anybody. You don't want to be like, oh my god, like this person's getting worse. You just want to pray that they're getting better and pray for like the best of them basically. So like, number 1, dealing with a sick parent is mentally exhausting. It is very, very tiring. It's tiring in the way that you're literally just watching them just deal with this sickness, and there's really not much you can do about it besides just be there and like witness the whole thing happen like right before your eyes. Like it's sad. So obviously, before my mom ended up being in the hospital full time, we were at home with her, and she was kind of just like going in and out of hospital like constantly. It's a thing where it's like when you're at school, like bro, you don't know what you're gonna come home to. Like, is my mom gonna be in the hospital when I come home? Is she gonna be at home? Like, is she gonna be okay when we get home? Are we gonna need to help her a bit more than the other days? Like stuff like, just thoughts like that, like when everyone is thinking about like just being a regular kid, thinking about kid stuff, whatever kids think about, playing games, going to town or whatever, hanging out, you're literally like one of the only people just thinking about, oh, like my parent who's at home, who's like in a very like bad condition. You don't know what you're gonna expect. Oh, am I gonna be placed into foster care again when my parent goes to hospital again? If they go to hospital, how long are they gonna be in hospital for? It's also a thing where my mom wasn't really like capable of like, one, she wasn't fully capable of doing things on her own because she was so sickly, and then two, like she wasn't really capable of like doing like stuff around the house for us, so we basically had to like do that ourselves. It was mainly like my older sister, because obviously she was like the oldest, she knew what to do, and for me it was more just like me helping her doing those things. So it's kind of just stuff like that, like us having to like kind of like cook for ourselves, you know, like if we're preparing lunch for school, like those are the stuff that we were doing for ourselves that our mom used to do for us, but she can't anymore. If she needed extra help with whatever, like maybe she needed extra help with like taking her like medicine or something like that, we would have to help her. So, you know, it's kind of just like extra things that like regular kids don't like have to deal with that we had to deal with, which was very like, it was very tiring. I'm not gonna lie, like that's the only like word that I can just use to describe it, because I just felt like like so tired. Like mentally I was just so tired. Like I just felt like I was just so tired of like thinking the worst, of just being worried, being sad, being like envious of other people, like, oh, I wish like my mom was like in good health so she can do like other things that other people's parents are doing, you know, stuff like that. For when she was like in hospital full time and we were like going up and down to Galway to go and visit her, that yeah, like I said in my previous video, that definitely was like one of the most like mentally exhausting moments of my life, because you literally have to deal with like, you have to deal with assignments from secondary school, like anything they need you to do from secondary school, you need to deal with that. If you have a project, you have an assignment that's due, you have an exam that's upcoming. I have all that while also going all the way to Galway to spend some time with my mom, who's literally sick. Like and that depends on whatever condition she is. She could be in like a worse condition, like in a worse shape than we last left her, for whatever reason, you know. Like when a person is like chronically ill, like they can be like, there's times where they can be better than what they usually are, there's times where they can be worse than what they usually are, and then there's times where they're just like okay as, you know, regular, even though they are chronically ill or just sick in general. So it's like you just never know what you're gonna expect. Like we could be talking to our mom before we get to Galway and she could be good, but by the time we get to Galway she could literally be like, oh, you know, I have like these headaches and I'm just in pain. I'm like, we don't know where the pain is coming from. There's nothing that we can literally physically do besides the medicine that she has and whatever the doctor is giving her. That's all that's like there to help her. So like when you're from the outside looking in, like you just have this like, you have this like helplessness where you can't really do anything. You're just there, like you're just there with bare emotions. Like you can't even feel bad, because like if you feel bad, you're not the person who's sick. It's just like when you feel bad, it's just like this guilt of like feeling bad, because you're like, what are you tired of? Like what are you feeling bad like for? Like you're not the person who's sick, you're not the one who's in pain, stuff like that. You're kind of just stuck in this like limbo of just like, you don't even know what to do, because you're literally a kid. Like there's not much you can do. Like I don't have like magic, I can't like heal a person who's sick, so it's just like dealing with that. So, you know, the times when you're like at the hospital and you have like work that you're trying to get done, so you're also trying to, like, you know, to kill time at the hospital and try to do your work. But even sometimes that's very hard and very distracting, because you're literally in a hospital. Like it's hard to like just sit down and do work. Like it's hard to concentrate basically. So, you know, like if I'm like procrastinating, then I still have this deadline that's approaching for an assignment, for work, for an exam, and I'm just there dealing with my mom at the same time. It's a lot going on for like a kid, in my opinion. It's a lot going on for a kid, and then still feeling like you can't really like complain because one, you're grateful for the time that you're spending with your mom, but at the same time it's like you also have other things that you need to do. So then you also feel guilty because it's like I would obviously choose being with my mom over doing a lot of things. So it's like if that just, you know, takes up all my day, and then the work that I have to do is push to the next day, like that's just like another level of like stress that's like kind of hard. It's hard to communicate with other people, even to like a parent who's sick. It's hard to communicate to them like that, like this is how you feel, like you're just tired, you're just stressed, because at the same time it's like you're not the one who's in the hospital. So it's like let me not say anything because it's just, what's the point of saying anything, because it's not really gonna change anything besides probably make that like your parent feel bad. Like, so it's just like what's the point? You don't really say anything. So that's kind of what it was like my personal experience. I feel like that's just really how I felt like 24/7. I'm not even gonna lie, like during this whole time, these years, that's really just how I felt. I wasn't really like, in terms of like my schoolwork, I don't think I was really like affected. My fan just died. Guys, this room is hot, but anyways, I digress. I wasn't really like stressed. Like I feel like for me, like I always got my work done. Like I've never really had struggles in secondary school with doing my work for exams. I always gave it my all. It was a good distraction in my opinion. I know for some people, like some people might have like difficulty focus, especially when they have things going on at home. It's hard to focus like on your literally like your schoolwork when you literally have a lot going on at home. There's a lot of stress at home. Some people are just even too stressed. Like when you're stressed at home, you come to school, there's more stress. It's like I can't even focus anymore because the stress is just everywhere. The stress is literally just everywhere. There's like no place that somebody can go to just relax and have peace of mind. But I don't know how, but I feel like for me, like I've never really had like struggles in terms of like my schoolwork, college work, secondary school work. I've kind of just used it as a distraction, to be honest. I feel like I mainly just use it as a distraction. For me, it kind of did help actually to just have something else to like focus on, even though it was stressful. I'm not saying that the assignments weren't stressful, that the exams weren't stressful. It was stressful, especially when you have a lot going on at home, or like say for example, like we have to go to Galway for a weekend and I have like something that's due like the next week, and then I don't get to working on that assignment until like Sunday night when we come back from Galway to Sligo, and I still have to do work. Guys, stress levels was on an all-time high. I'll tell ya, it was really like stressful, but like I still managed to do it. So I'm kind of like, I'm really grateful for that I've never really struggled. I feel like in a way dealing with so much stress kind of also helped me contribute to dealing with like just stress as a whole. Like I feel like I feel like now I kind of work well under pressure because I feel like I've always dealt with pressure. Like I've never really like had time to just like, you know, procrastinate and do all this stuff. Even like now, if I have like something that's due and like they give us so much time, like bro, I get it done like way before the due date, because I'm just like, I don't know, I just do it. Like I feel like, anyway, I just feel like I work better under pressure now because it's just something that I always have to deal with. And like when I'm not like really pressured, I feel like I'm not doing enough work, or I just feel like I'm not doing enough, like, or I'm like, or maybe I'm not learning enough because I'm like, I don't feel the pressure, I don't feel the stress from this assignment, I don't feel the stress for this exam, like maybe it's just gonna go left, stuff like that. I feel like that's something that's also like definitely rewired my brain. I'm not gonna lie. Okay, I think I already mentioned this in my previous video. So okay, that's that in terms of like dealing with a sick parent. How did I manage when my mom was in hospital full time? That's like my general emotions that I kind of felt, kind of just stressed. at times it's just like words can't describe how you feel, but just like this immense amount of like stress on your mind, on your soul, like just weighing down on you, an immense amount of worry, of being weary, of like you're just afraid of what's gonna come next. What type of news am I gonna come home to? What type of news am I gonna receive from the hospital? When we get to the hospital, we don't know. It's like living in this like limbo. That is literally so stressful. Those are definitely the feelings that I just felt dealing with a sick parent. So now we're going on to like my foster home and the emotions that I felt, how to like navigate being in my foster home. I think I already mentioned in my previous video, like I did not get on well with my foster care. Like me and her had a really bad relationship. One, because there was so much going on and I just felt like I was not really in the place to like be developing a new relationship with somebody who's trying to like parent me, especially when I have my own parent. Two, I don't believe I gave the relationship enough like time to even develop. Like I kind of just like when I got to her foster, like to her home, I kind of just like made my mind up that like, you know what, like I'm not really gonna make a relationship with this lady. I'm not really gonna put time into it. So I never did. I just never did, you know. I never put effort into like getting to know her as a person, or just, you know, trying to understand the things that she's trying to teach me or anything like that. So cool. There's a lot of friction and, you know, it was kind of tense. I feel like it got more tense after my mom passed away because we weren't really going anywhere with her like 24/7. Because obviously when my mom was in hospital, we would go to Galway for the weekend, or if we had midterms, we would be in Galway. So obviously after my mom passed away, we're living in her house full time. We're with her all the time. I'm always dealing with her. How was this for me personally? How was it dealing, and how was it like living in foster care with a foster parent that I didn't like? And I feel like this is something that should resonate with a lot of people, because not everybody gets along with their foster care. Like, you know, I feel like there are foster carers that are not really even supposed to be foster carers. And when I say I didn't get along with my foster care, there are very specific reasons besides the fact that like I didn't really like her. There are reasons as to why I didn't like her. I didn't like the way she spoke to me. I didn't like her tone of voice whenever she spoke to me. I didn't like the things that she would say to me. That's why I'm saying there are certain people that I feel like shouldn't be foster carers. The way my foster care that I had handled me grieving, I felt like she wasn't patient enough. She kind of was just like, stop sulking all the time, like get over it. And I'm like, you know, at the same time, that was something that did push me to like overcome my grief. But at the same time, I don't think I should have been rushed to get over my grief at the same time. But it's definitely something that I definitely went back on like after I left the foster home and worked on. But that's one of the reasons why I'm like, there are certain people that I don't believe should be foster carers or are not capable of being foster carers. Or if they are foster carers, they should be reevaluated after some time. But somehow they still have the job. I'm like, guys, that's something that TUSLA needs to like reevaluate, because I'm like, some foster parents, I'm like, I don't even know how you got your job. I don't know how you're still working as a foster parent. Whatever ulterior motive that you have going on that's keeping you in this job needs to be studied, because no. So yeah, foster home life. What was it like? For me, one, I didn't like being in the countryside for one. Like, I just feel like countryside was so quiet. It was so quiet, but it was quiet in a good and a bad way. Quiet in a good way that I kind of needed that peace and quiet. Like, I'm kind of glad that I wasn't in the city, because Lord knows like what I would have got into if I was in the city and I was like, you know what, like I'm just gonna like spend the night out of home because I don't want to go home to my foster parent and I don't like her. I would have probably been out with a wrong type of crowd. Bad in a way that what was I gonna say? it's bad in a way that I think that it wasn't a peace that I was kind of used to. Like, it wasn't a type of quietness that I was like used to. I'm like like, it's so quiet and isolating here, and then on top of that, we're like one of like the only black people in this town. Like, there's nobody that's like us, there's nobody that's really our age like us. Like, there was kids, but I feel like for my age, I've always had, like, I wouldn't say I had an awkward age, but like my entire life, outside of even just being a person who's dealing with grief or dealing with like having a sick parent, I feel like even when my mom was alive, when we used to go over to people's houses, they would have a child that's like my sister's age, they would have a child that's like my brother's age, but they would never have a child that's my age. Like, I was just there. So I feel like it was kind of the same situation being in the countryside. There was like, I just felt like my sister, okay, she didn't really have a person. My brother, he had his like little friends or whatever, but like me, I just felt like I didn't have anybody. Like, I felt like I was just kind of alone, and like being in the countryside was just even more isolating. Like, it's just like so quiet. I just felt like I could have been somewhere better. I could have just been like, I don't know, like in a town, like, and obviously I could have gone into town, but like I didn't go to school in Sligo town, so I didn't know anybody from Sligo town. Like, my school was literally outside of like Sligo town, to make matters worse. And then getting to where my school was at, the town where my school was at, it's just like so long. Like, it just was so long to get there. Like, it would take me like, I don't know, half a day to get there. I'm not gonna lie. Okay, that's a bit of an exaggeration, but it would take a long time to get there and just to get back. And I'm just like, you know what, I'm not doing that. That's just way too much. Especially because I wasn't really that close to anyone from my school at this point. I had like a few friends, but, and I had like a best friend as well in the school, but like, I don't know, I guess like meeting up with like people and like socializing also wasn't at the top of like my priority list. Like, I just felt like I always wanted to be alone, and that's also like one thing that I felt like I kind of like dealt with being in foster care and also dealing with grief. I felt like I kind of became like a recluse. Like, I just didn't want to socialize with people. Like, yeah, I just felt like, one, I just felt like I didn't really talk too much. They actually, I swear, like to God, like the people like the whole TUSLA people, like social workers and stuff like that, I feel like at some point they thought that I had like social anxiety, like, because I was like antisocial, because I just didn't really want to go on like the HYLS weekends. I didn't really feel like socializing too much with people. I wasn't really bringing people over to the house either. I was just like on my own, like 24/7. Like, I was literally just spending time on my own. I feel like that helps. I feel like for me though, that's like my own coping mechanism though. Like, I feel like I need to be like, if I'm like super stressed, and I just like being around people is not gonna help me. Is that something that I probably developed this whole time, and like dealing with like grief and like being in foster care and, you know, dealing with just everything? It probably is something that I developed from that, but like, I try obviously not to be alone 24/7. Like, I do have a good few friends now. I'm not the same, but I'm just saying at the time, like, I just felt like I was kind of like a recluse. Like, that was the only thing that helped me. I feel like being on my own, I always was listening to music and I always had my headphones on. So yeah, I definitely did look very antisocial. So yeah, that's kind of just like how I dealt with it. If I was like, me and my foster care, like, we used to argue so much. We used to argue like over anything and every little thing. Like, it was bad, I'm not gonna lie. I feel like TUSLA could have done a bit more. Like, that when I did like ask them like, oh, like, can I go somewhere else? One, they would tell me that, one, like, your mom's dying wish was for all of her kids to be kept together. I'm like, okay, cool, but like, my mom's not here, and two, I'm struggling, so we need to do something about that. Two, after them reminding me that, like, okay, cool, your mom wanted all her kids to be together, they would literally just be like, there's nowhere else that you can go in like Sligo. Like, there's no other like foster homes that are like accepting of like, I don't even know, like a teenage girl that's like my age or whatever. And I'm just like, that's something that I also felt like I had like so much trouble with, because it's like the lack of like foster homes for kids to go to, one, is just insane. Two, the lack of foster homes of like color, of like people of color, that's another thing that's just like, I don't even think the issue has even started to be dissected. Like, it's just like another issue on top of the whole foster care issue. Like the fact that I couldn't go anywhere, I felt like I was just stuck with this lady in her house. Obviously I was with my siblings and stuff like that, but like they weren't having half as hard of a time as I was with this lady. Like we just did not get along. Like we would just like, I just didn't like her. I can't say if I like her now because I feel like I don't really know her that much, to be honest. There's nothing, like everything I can think about of her is something that I don't like, or it's just like memories of us arguing. So I'm just like, you know what, like I don't like this lady. So like I just felt like I was stuck. I felt like I was helpless in her care, and I felt like I wasn't really receiving much help besides what I was getting from like HILS. And obviously I had my aftercare worker who would also take me out for like a couple of hours. Maybe we go and get like a coffee and stuff like that. She did help, I'm not gonna lie. She actually did help. Probably like was like the only thing that got me through this whole time, to be honest. I'm honestly just so grateful that I have an aftercare worker who was so patient and like understanding of like my situation. I just feel like we kind of just clicked from the minute like we met. Like at first I was kind of just like, I was kind of like cold and like closed off, but like eventually, like, you know, she cracked me. So I was like getting along well with her. What else? Like I was saying, one of the good things about being in the countryside was the fact that I basically was around like nobody. So there was nobody to have like a negative effect on me. There was like nothing that I'm pretty sure if I really did go out of my way to like find like say like drugs or alcohol and be like, you know what, like I'm gonna drink because I have my sorrows and I'm gonna drink my sorrows away, I'm pretty sure if I looked hard enough I would have found it. But it was just never in my spirit to do that. Like I'm not one of those people that believe that like by drinking like all of my problems are gonna go away. Because at the end of the day, the way I see it is that when you drink, when you smoke, when you do anything like that's gonna alter how you feel on a regular basis, at the end of the day you're gonna come down from that high and you're still gonna have to deal with those problems. So in my head I'm like, well, what's the point of me doing all these things if I'm gonna come back home? Even like when sometimes they would ask me and be like, do you not want to go over to your friend's house for like a sleepover or something? I'm like, no. I used to just tell them no. Like I don't want to go to anyone's house. One, I don't have even the mental capability to be around people for that long. That's not my family. Like I don't want to be with, even though those people, like if it's like my best friend's house, like even though she's like my best friend, I'm like, I don't want to go over to her house. Like I just don't have the mental capability to be I feel like I'm just entertaining people. And when I'm dealing with grief, when I'm dealing with stress, and I'm just down in general, like I don't have like the energy, the mental capability to do that. Two, I'm like, at the end of the day, even if I leave for like a weekend, I'm still gonna come back and have to deal with the same thing for who knows how long, until like when the next sleepover. So it's like that's just how I looked at it as well. So that's why I never really went out of my way to be doing all these like sleepovers with people. And the HILS weekends, obviously we had a choice to choose between whether or not I want to do that. I always chose to do it because anyway, we're going somewhere nice. But at the same time, it's also that thought in the back of your head that even if I leave this situation for like a couple of days, like the situation of my foster care home and the lady herself, I'm still gonna have to come back and deal with it. Like I'm still gonna have to come back and deal with it. And because I was like, you know what, like I'm not dropping out of college, like even though like I could have dropped out of college, because in Ireland, of course, like I think you can drop out of college after the age of 15, 16, or after your junior cert in general, junior certificate that being. I'm just like, yeah, I've never really like been that type of person that's like, I'm gonna like, I don't know why, but I've never been that type of person that's like, I'm gonna give up on myself because of what I'm going through. Like it just never gave that. Like I've never really had, I don't know why, but I've never really had struggles in that type of way. If anything, school related, college related, anything that had to do with like my life in the future, because I was still hopeful. Keep in mind, I was a very hopeful person, even though I knew what I was going through. And there was days where I feel like, oh my God, I just can't do this anymore. Like, maybe I should just like give up on it all. Like, let me just go and do drugs. Let me just become an alcoholic or something like that. And like be one of those people that's just like, I'm just gonna drink my sorrows away. Like, I've never been one of those people to ever have that type of mindset, ever. I've just always been hopeful that things are gonna change. What gives me hope? I don't know exactly. Maybe it's the spirit of my mom in me. To be honest, that gives me hope. But I'm like, this is not my story. This is not how my story is gonna end, regardless of what I'm going through. I always just knew like, this is never gonna be my story. My story is never gonna end being something that's just like, I'm gonna settle for what I'm going through. I'm gonna settle for less. I'm gonna become a product of my environment, of my circumstances. Never gave that, ever. I was saying, if anything, college has always been a distraction for me. Anything school-related, anything to do with my life, future, has always been something to distract me. It's always something to like, even if I'm having a bad day, something that I can just put on my headphones on, sit in a corner all alone and just daydream about my life, daydream about me being a better person, living a better life, because something in me deep down, I just always knew that this is never gonna be like this. Like, it's not gonna be like this forever. And I feel like it's also because I was living a good life before my mom got sick anyways. Like, my life hasn't always been like, I'm just some kid who was in foster care and that's my story. Simple as my mom passed away, boom, I have no parents, no family in this country. That's never been my story. I know who my family is. I just know, like, it's just a thing where they're just far away from me. They can't really do much to help me. I was living a good life before my mom got sick anyway, so I feel like it's from that as well. That's probably also what's giving me like courage to like persevere and like keep on going. I'm not saying that there's times where I didn't get depressed. I feel like for a long time, yes, I feel like for a long time that I was like very like depressed and just like I just felt like when I was in foster care, like there was not really anything that was like bringing light to my whole spirit and soul. Like, I just felt like I was so down and I just hated where I was living, like stuff like that. Especially with what I was going through, I feel like nobody else could relate. Like, out of all the Black people that was living in the town that I was living in, or in the town that I went to secondary school in, Tipperary, like out of all the Black people, because we like, there was such little Black people that like all the Black people kind of knew each other, or we knew of each other. Like, none of them were really like in foster care. They were not in foster care. Obviously some people had their own issues, but there was not really anyone that's like really going through what we were going through. There was people that I did know around Ireland who were going through grief and had lost a parent, but I'm just talking about where I was, particularly in my personal experience. There wasn't really like anyone that I could reach out to and like relate to that was like near to where I was living, near to where I was. So in that sense, I was alone, not just me, like my whole siblings. Like, I feel like we were very alone. And obviously all of us, we all have our own ways of dealing with stuff, but for me personally, my way of dealing with it was just, one, becoming a recluse. Two, I don't think I really showed much emotion. Like, there was not really anything to be happy about in general. Like, I wasn't like a very like, obviously if you kind of like knew me, like when I'm like comfortable with people, like I like to laugh a lot. I'm like, you know, I'm a chill person. I'm not like a depressed person all the time, but for that time being, the whole time that I was like in foster care after my mom passed away, I feel like the only emotions I felt was kind of just like depression. Like, it was just very dark. Like, I was just like, how long am I gonna be here? But obviously one of the things that just kept me going and gave me hope was the fact that I knew that I wasn't gonna be the age that I was forever. Like, I knew that the day I was gonna come where I'm gonna do my leaving cert, I'm gonna graduate, and boom, I'm gonna leave. That's the only thing that I felt like I was working hard for, and that's the only thing that I felt like was ever in my brain. I ended up getting a job anyways. So obviously when I had some money coming in, and I was saving up. Those were the things that were like keeping me going. Those were the things that were even giving me like the energy to like work harder at work and at a school. The idea that, you know what, I'm gonna leave one day. It's not always gonna be like this. I'm gonna be in control of my life one day. So those are definitely the things I feel like definitely kept me going. And in terms of dealing with grief, in school we also had like, I also mentioned that we also had like the chaplaincy office. This lady that would like take us out and like talk. She would like talk to us. Like that's her job in general, to talk to people who have like stuff going on at home, I think so. She helped, but like at some point I feel like it kind of stopped working for me, because at the end of the day, like it doesn't, how I saw it was, it doesn't matter how much I talk and confide to you or confide in you, I'm still gonna be returning home at the end of the day to the same situation that I'm in. And then you're gonna go home to your family life where you're all happy. You're not going through what I'm going through. You probably don't even pass a thought of me in mind when you're at home. So I feel like when I started looking at it from that point of view, it definitely kind of just, I didn't even want to go to that lady's office anymore. She would like call me out and be like, if you want to come, you can come, and I would choose not to go, like, because I'm like, I don't want to talk to you anymore, like. And then, you know, like with like people that work in school and stuff like that, you can only tell them so much, because you cross that line of being like, you know what, like I'm depressed or whatever, they might just call somebody, pick you up, you know what I'm saying? So yeah, like it just got to a point where I just felt like this is not helping anymore. The only thing that I felt like that was helping me was, one, not really showing as much emotion, not really talking to people as much. I feel like that genuinely did help me, just because like, one, I feel like all of my relationships were kind of like surface level at a point. They weren't really anything like too deep. That helped me kind of focus on myself, to be honest, because I didn't really have anything else to focus on. I wasn't really a type of person that was like going out of my way to like hang out with my friends or like hang out with people in general. So it just gave me more time to just focus on myself and create plans on what I want to do when I do leave, things that I want to focus on better in myself and stuff like that. Like I feel like after I kind of just came to a level of understanding and acceptance that, you know what, like this is my situation, but I don't want to be a product of my circumstances, I don't want to be a product of my situation, I just changed my mindset and I was like, I'm gonna go harder, I'm gonna go hard at this college stuff, my secondary school work, I'm gonna work harder, I'm gonna save more. And I feel like that was one of the major things that definitely did help me. I feel like changing my mindset and just pushing through. Was I like a religious person at this time? No, barely read my Bible, never actually. Didn't go to church ever. And that doesn't mean that I didn't believe in God. Obviously I believe in God, but I'm not a type of person that was like going to church, especially because I was like young. I'm like, I don't want to go. So, you know, I'm just saying that because I'm not like one of those people that's like, oh, you know, I was praying every day. And I wasn't praying every day. I don't know. I just felt like I was kind of just like, I can just count on my own actions as a person. Obviously, it's a different story now. I feel like I'm kind of giving myself time to grow in terms of like religion. I've kind of, you know, I do a little bit of work on it every day so that I can have my own understanding, because I also notice that nowadays people try to tell you stuff, they try to control how you believe religiously, and I'm not going for that. So I believe what I want to believe, you believe what you want to believe, we call it, you know. So yeah, I feel like that was like the major things that was keeping me going. I feel like I was just like, I believe in myself and I know that I'm gonna get myself out of here. So yeah, so I feel like with that being said and everything that was said, this is the end of the video. I hope you liked my part 3 of unlocking childhood trauma with me, your host Chichi. So like, comment, share, and subscribe, and comment down below your own opinions. If you have anything to contribute, anything that stood out to you, if you are somebody who is currently going through this situation, what advice could I give to a person? I feel like believe in yourself. You are not a product of your circumstances. If you choose not to be. If you want to be that person who's like, you know what, I went through this shit, so I'm gonna be this type of person, by all means be that person, but you also have the choice to not be that person. I'm not saying that it's gonna be easy. It's gonna be hard, because at the end of the day, how it is that when you're a person like me who's going through grief, you're dealing with a parent who has passed away or who was sick, you're in foster care, you do have to work. You don't even have family in the country, Seth. You don't have like a dad. My mom was a single parent. I have my dad, like I know who he is. I actually have his contact details and everything. We just don't talk. So he's like inactive in my life by his own choice, and I don't care. If you're a person who's going through any type of kind of situation like this, even if it's not as extreme as being in foster care, at the end of the day, one, you're not a product of what you go through, and two, you have to work twice as hard as anybody else. Even if you're black, then you're like 3 times harder. If you're a female, that's like 4 times harder. If you're like, I don't know, LGBTQ, that's like 6 times harder. You know what I mean? It gets like harder, but that doesn't mean that you can't do it. That doesn't mean that it's impossible. It is very much possible if you work hard, I feel like, and if you keep on trying, keep on persevering, then you will get to where you want to be eventually. That's how I see it, most definitely, because I'm like, until I know that I've literally tried everything, even if I so-called fail, until I know that I've tried my absolute best, I've given it my all, I'm not gonna stop trying. I'm not gonna stop trying to be in a better position, to be a better person, to live a better life, you know? So yeah, that's the type of advice that I would give somebody. Just keep going. Each day is a new day, and just take it as that. Go day by day. You know, some days are gonna be worse than others, some days are gonna be better, some days are gonna just be, you know, somehow, just keep on going. So see you guys in my next video. Thank you.